I was born in Jacksonville, Florida, but we only lived there a year before we moved to Scarsdale, New York. When I was 13, my father bought a working farm in New Jersey. It was on a dirt road, had no plumbing, no electricity. People couldn't believe that it could be so remote in New Jersey. I worked, my father traveled, so they took the silver spoon out and made me milk cows, which was not very nice for a Scarsdale boy. My father grew up in Brooklyn, and he worked one summer at Bath Iron Works in Bath, Maine, and became interested in maritime professions. And he graduated from Webb Institute of Naval Architecture. And even on that farm, we had a marine room, which was filled with marine paintings and models and other ship lore. My father was a member of the Ship Lore and Model Club in Brooklyn, New York. And they had the artists Gordon Grant, Warren Shepard, and Bob Bartlett, who was the skipper of the Morrissey. He had been Admiral Perry's skipper and was with the Morrissey that was built in Essex, Massachusetts, was a Gloucester fisherman. He used to take to the Arctic every other year, and when I was 12, I was supposed to go on the Morrissey to the Arctic, and the war came along and I couldn't go. The maritime background really started with my father, who enjoyed sailing and was always surrounded by friends and others who were in the shipping or maritime industry. When we lived on that farm, we moved there, as I said, when I was 13, but my mother died. And I had a twin sister. She was sent away to school, and I stayed on the farm. My father traveled. He lived with a Pennsylvania Dutch housekeeper, and we ran the farm. The farm was 9 miles away from high school, and if I didn't feel like going to high school, I didn't go. And it was too far for the truant officers to come out. So I was not doing very well in school, and my father sent me away to a place called Mercersburg Academy, which straightened me out. I enjoyed studying, became on the honor roll, and as a result was able to go to college. In college, I became part of a reserve officer candidate school, and when I graduated, I became an ensign in the Navy. I went to CIC school for 5 months in Glenview, Illinois, and then reported to a destroyer out of Norfolk, Virginia. When I took command of the USS Coates, who was a destroyer escort, it was had the poorest record of any ship in its squadron of 8 ships. And in 2 years, we became the top reserve destroyer escort. And the real truth is I did not do it, but the crew felt the ship belonged to them. And I really, with that type of motivation, they made the ship the success that it became. These were lessons in leadership that I think followed me the rest of my life. When I was at Davis Polk, the senior partner had represented the 7 Annenberg sisters. Walter Annenberg had 7 sisters, and Walter Annenberg and Walter Fletcher, the senior partner, became close associates. And Walter Annenberg called Walter Fletcher and said, "I need another lawyer here in Philadelphia." And so I was sent to Philadelphia by Fletcher. And I became house counsel for Walter's company called Triangle Publications, which was then the largest privately owned communications company in the United States. And after 5 years of being a lawyer, I took over 17 magazine, which is a teenage girls magazine, and Triangle's cable television properties. Having no previous experience with a teenage girls magazine, it was quite an interesting chapter in my life. After 3 years running the combined cable and the magazine, Walter Annenberg decided to sell the cable properties. And I saw an opportunity, went to Walter and said, could I buy one or more of your cable systems? And he laughed, said, you can, Jerry, but do you have any money? And I said, no, I don't, but I'd like to try. And I got two gentlemen in Lebanon, Pennsylvania to put up the money on the commitment I'd double their money in 5 years. We did buy the cable system, and 26 years later, we had 1,300,000 customers and sold the company for $7.6 billion. Not all of that, of course, was mine because we had debt and we had partners. But it was a rare opportunity that Walter Annenberg gave me. Well, Marguerite's truly been a partner. We have 3 children, daughter and 2 sons, and 4 grandchildren. Been married 59 years. I met Marguerite when I was in high school. Later, when I was in college, I invited Marguerite to come to a big event they had at Washington and Lee. And she came, and that was the beginning of our relationship. We got married when I was in the Navy, and we've had a very wonderful partnership over the years. Having served in the Navy and having sailed, you know, we've taken our sailboat to the Mediterranean, the Adriatic, the Aegean, Nova Scotia, the Caribbean. I've learned a great appreciation of the oceans, and we started many years ago the Lenfest Ocean Program, where we provide research to try to protect ocean life. And that's from whales to sharks to plankton. And we use the top scientists and professors in universities all around the world to do studies which are printed in the scientific magazines and influence legislation to protect sea life in the oceans. So what I've learned from the maritime and experiences and appreciation of the ocean and the need to protect it to the extent that we can. The society's role of protecting the maritime heritage of this country is so important that I think we all need to support the society in their noble task. The most important thing is not how much money you've made, how many cars you have, how many yachts you have, but how you feel about yourself. And I feel pretty good, but I'm never through. I always wake up with a new challenge, and I like to be active. I don't want to stop and retire. So I continue to contribute as best I can, not only in money, but in service.